Welcome to the latest episode of the Pulse of East Providence with Mayor Bob DaSilva. You know, our administration prides itself in being able to communicate with our community using all forms of communication. We use this PEG-RI broadcast, we use our social media platforms, and we have an incredible website, eastprovinceri.gov. At the bottom of the website, you'll see a link to sign up for our newsletter. Our newsletter is chock full of information about things happening in the community, about services we provide. So sign up at the bottom of the page at eastprovinceri.gov. Today, we're very fortunate to have with us a person who is an East Providence resident, who comes from a great background in manufacturing, and he is the CEO of a business that's located right here in East Providence, and its U.S. headquarters is right here in Rumford. Today, I'm proud to have with me Felix Brockmeyer, the CEO of IGUS. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. Felix, you know, I'd like to start out the show by asking the person I'm speaking with to tell us a little bit about themselves. And I delve way back into your background. So I'd like to ask people, like, where did you grow up?
Yep.
How did you get into this field? How did you end up becoming the CEO of this incredible company? Start from when you were a child.
So your very first question, where did I grow up? I grew up in Germany.
Okay.
So I'm a German citizen, actually, with a green card, but live in the States since 20 years. I got into this field, really, I was a mechanical engineer, and during my university time, I already recognized that doing drawings all day isn't necessarily my favorite thing. I somewhat had a talent to talk to people and manage the project more so than anything else. Through a wonderful opportunity, got to move to the United States for a former employer, ran a large division for them in North America, and then about 2 years ago had the opportunity to join IGUS as the CEO. And join them in their large expansion plans, really in the Americas, and that really intrigued me. And additional to that, I've always looked forward to living in New England, to be honest. Being from Europe, this is kind of the closest, feeling-wise, what you can get in the U.S. So my European heart always feels at home up here. So
well, listen, it's wonderful, and you're not only living in New England, you live here in East Providence, in Riverside specifically. Yeah. So great to be speaking to you as a resident also. But you ended up coming over here, not only did you find your profession and your career, but you met your wife. Tell us about that.
Yeah, my wife is actually a native Californian, which doesn't exist that much anymore, I heard. Most people moved there. But as part of my job, I also lived for 6 years in Los Angeles. I met my wonderful wife there. Her name's Brittany. And I then forced her to leave California and the beach, move to Atlanta, Georgia with me. And then 2 years ago, she was happy to move up here to East Providence. We have 2 young girls, 2 and 4 years old, who absolutely love it up here as well. So. Yeah, we feel very, very much at home in East Providence.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. And, you know, you were talking about earlier that you're trying to find a home, and it's difficult to find homes. Yeah. The market doesn't have many single-family homes, and I think that's a testament to the fact that people, once a home goes up for sale, it's gone within a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
People are really interested in purchasing and living here in our great city, yeah. And it's because the city offers a lot. And one of the things I like to tell people is that East Providence is your place in which you want to live, learn, work, and play. And the work part is where you come in. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes me so proud to know, to learn about IGUS. And I want you to share, mm-hmm. I want you to share with the community the story of IGUS. You know, how did it start? How did it get to where it is today? Mm. First, why don't we start with telling us about IGUS, how it came to be?
So, IGUS is a originally German headquartered company, and we were founded in 1964. Privately held, and our founder and his wife started a injection molding business in their garage in Cologne, Germany. And from there, it kept growing. We specialize in motion products made out of plastics. And we've been in Rhode Island since 1985. So actually, the Broadway facility that we still own, we started there with a 400 square foot warehouse section and a little office. And it was our current CEO, global CEO, who was on a short work assignment, and he got his MBA at Texas Christian University and met a business partner that was from Rhode Island, and together they started their operation of IGUS in North America here in Rumford. And that's really the reason why we ended up here, but we've never really looked back. It's a great location, close to Boston, close to New York, very easy to get to Europe, great logistics connections everywhere around Providence. And so since 1985, we've now grown from a 1.5 person business to we have 504 employees right now.
That's incredible. And you've got a location on Broadway. That was your original location, which, by the way, we're going to talk about that after, because I know you're actually bringing jobs into East Providence, into the United States. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you also have an incredible modern facility on Ferris Avenue. Tell us about what goes on there. By the way, I had the pleasure of taking a tour of that facility, and I took a tour of the one on Broadway, both incredible facilities. Tell us about that facility, what goes on there.
So since 2013, that's where we really moved into the Ferris Avenue facility. We built 200,000 square feet of a really assembly plant for our products there. That is our main facility, that's where our main offices are, where our engineering sits, and a lot of our assembly and distribution happens from. The building over on Broadway, plus the additional building on Greenwood Avenue, we just renovated and moved the next expansion phase in. So all in all, we have 350,000 square feet by now.
Wow.
We like the fact that we have the opportunity to move within Rumford between the different locations. We wouldn't want to go really far. Logistically, we like to be very close to the different buildings we own, which is also why we bought the building across from us on the Ferris Avenue. So it's always misleading. We own 257 Ferris Avenue and 275 Ferris Avenue. So there you go. You can twist those numbers. But there is another 23-acre lot with a 350,000 square foot building additionally that we acquired about 4 years ago. And we're in the middle of renovating and adding to that over the next years as well.
So you've got over 500 jobs.
Yep.
With the expansions you're planning, what are we looking at for job increases here in East Providence?
So just last year we added 50 between the two locations. We opened up our injection molding facility there on Broadway and Greenwood, and brought about 10 jobs right away there to operate that equipment. Overall, to really fill all this, I would think easily another 250 jobs. It will take us probably 5 to 6 years to need them all. But it always depends on the market, right? Sometimes we have years where we need 50, 60 people at a time. And sometimes when the economy is slow, we might only need 10 or 15. We are fortunate enough that even in the last 2 years where the markets in the US are a little bit slower, we're growing and we're expanding and we're investing. Even today we have 40 open positions here in Rumford. So
now you specialize in creating moving parts, plastic, a lot of it. Most of it is plastic and polymers, but moving parts that don't require lubricant.
That's right.
I was amazed. First of all, okay, you gave us a tour. The governor was there. We toured the facility. It's really impressive. You're looking at moving parts even in tractor trailers, and these are big components. That never need lubrication because of the special polymer you utilize. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Everything we do has to do with replacing traditional bronze or steel bearings that usually need grease or lubrication with a self-lubricating polymer. Our basic principle is that we have a base material, a base polymer, we have a filler to make it strong, and what's called a dry lubricant. There's various different ways you can do that. Blending these materials and safely manufacturing items out of them and good quality is kind of our specialty. We have solutions from the tiniest medical device to, like you said, 12-inch bearings in tractor-trailer applications. And what I didn't know until I joined IGUS is the amount of time and money companies around the world spend on lubricating their equipment or their machines. And I always like to give that example of a farmer that every morning spends 30 to 40 minutes, hopefully, greasing his machinery, so that when he, throughout the day, works in the field, has no problems. That grease and that lubricant gets worn out, and the next day or 2-3 days later, he has to do it again.
And that grease, by the way, is where's it ending?
Exactly, it ends in the ground. 50% of all lubricants in the world end in the ground, which is a little bit what we're focusing on. We want to offer heavy equipment solutions that doesn't happen, right? We can protect it from getting in the groundwater. We can protect it from getting in the ground, into our food, and many other things. So bringing an alternative to industrial solutions where you don't lubricate your machines. So.
Okay, that's great. Now, one of the things I noticed, and by the way, I adopted, was when I took a tour of your facility, I saw that you went out of the way to take care of your employees, to make them feel comfortable, to create spaces for them. Talk to us how you take care of your employees. You treat them more than just employees, they're family.
We do. We have a very open environment. First and foremost, we have no real hierarchy. So we're very open, transparent, not a lot of walls and offices, so we try to be approachable. We provide very, very attractive benefits. We take care of our employees by not having them even pay healthcare premiums. We pay all the premiums. We provide above average salaries. We give them free lunches. We give them very modern facility. Our core belief is everybody should have access to daylight. So we always have lights and windows, even in the manufacturing facility, to get people to have access to daylight, which I always felt was normal, but I've seen a lot of places throughout my career where that isn't the case. And so we just want them to be in an environment where they can do their best. And to do that, we have to put a little bit of effort in and create an environment where people want to be. We saw after the pandemic, after COVID, that people in our facility very quickly came back to 5 days in the office without us asking them. And that was a very positive sign, right? We don't have a lot of people that are asking to not be in the office, which I always take somewhat as a compliment. Can't be that bad of a place if you want to be there, right?
I think you're right. Yeah. And I know that you created some recreational activities or opportunities for people to recreate after work or during work, which I think you want your work to be productive, but you also want people to be enjoying what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And if you enjoy what you do, it's not really work, is it? So
that's how I look at it, right? If I dread going in, then it's a hard thing, right? So I never want anybody to feel bad coming into work.
So besides, so you make a lot of those motions, and just for the public out there, one of the things that you make are those wire harnesses that people will see in any moving piece of equipment, even in your printers or your computers or whatever, anything that has a moving component. Those plastic wire harnesses are one of the main things that you guys make, right?
Yeah, it's a big portion of what we do besides self-lubricating bushings. We make energy chains, which is basically a flexible trough where cable safely can be guided while it's being moved. I think the most common picture that everybody can have in their mind is when you go into a car wash and you have the wash arms driving around you. There always has to be hoses and cables guided around. So we make all of these things so that things can safely move and never need to be lubricated.
And now, recently here in East Providence, when you showed me your Broadway facility, there's a new robotics innovation center. Explain that.
Yeah, so from the component world that we've now been doing since 60 years, it has morphed into more and more systems and now really automation equipment. We build entire automation cells for manufacturers that want to automate simple tasks. I always look at automation as the enabler for people to do something better with the skill they have, right? So some people have very monotonous jobs, especially in assembly. Take this package and move it over here. Thank God that doesn't exist as much anymore. But if I can automate this simple task and use this person to learn how to program a robot or maintain a robot, I use their skill a lot more. And so we created an automation product line that allows us to automate simple tasks so that people don't lose their jobs, but they can use their skills to where they feel much better about their day. And that's how we approach it. We don't have a lot of ROI in mind or other things. It's very affordable. And it allows even the smallest facilities to automate jobs that maybe are repetitive or unsafe, and rather give your employees the opportunity to do something better.
I really appreciate you showing us around the other day. And another thing that is really special, I know I mentioned it earlier, when you hear about companies in manufacturing moving jobs out of the United States, we have a unique situation here. We have IGUS moving jobs from out of country into the United States. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we're expanding. We've been in Europe much longer than we've been in North America. We want to be close to where our customers are. We do see a tremendous market potential for our type of technology to be adopted in North America. And therefore, we need to bring the production close to our customer base and our market. So a good example is the molding facility, right? Until a year ago, we only molded our products in Cologne, in Germany. And now we operate a molding facility here. That means we need to bring tool and die maker knowledge over, machine operators over, injection molding experts over. We train with the help of our German teams, and then we skill up our employees here or hire people. The Germans go back to operate their plant, and we created a lot of knowledge and new jobs here.
That's wonderful.
So that's what we continue to do now.
How many, now, I remember you told me, I can't remember the number exactly, how many pieces of equipment have you brought over from Germany?
On the molding side, we created, we bought brand new 42 injection molding machines.
Okay.
So globally, we operate nearly 1,000.
Okay.
The building here in Rumford is laid out to house up to 190.
Okay.
190 molding machines is for us the goal. It's prepped for growth to support us the next 5-10 years. And hopefully thereafter, right? As I said, we have more facilities and properties that we would love to fill with jobs and with life. So we're going to continue to bring equipment over.
Now, you shared with us a vision. There's a plan or a concept rolling around where you want to build your North American headquarters, a structure that would be totally green. Can you talk about that? That's by the way, and tell the community, that's a major investment in our community.
Absolutely. I mean, the numbers from the investment there float all in between $250 and $400 million to realize this. The goal is to build a fully CO2 neutral facility. We want to incorporate, obviously, solar. Geothermal is difficult, we learned up here, and the very deep drilling necessary. But through green walls, putting plants on the walls, incorporating solar, incorporating a lot of light to light up the building instead of electricity, and making it very, very energy efficient. We do have a master plan with the city where we basically look at a 5-phase approach to build an additional 300 to 700,000 square foot in that area. We will incorporate the renovation of the building in Ferris on 275, but then add additional structures to it. We want to incorporate a nature trail that also the community around us can use. So we want to share a little bit of the grounds with the neighboring communities, because we want to live somewhat in harmony with our neighbors, right? We on purpose didn't want to put a big concrete box there that nobody wants to look at. We wanted to build a building that is pretty to look at, that people want to work in, and it blends into the city and the nature that we have here. So
That's fantastic. I mean, for me, as the mayor and as a resident, I'm excited to hear this. You know, I think that when you offer job opportunities to our residents, when you expand the tax base, you're making everything better for everyone, not just the people who are working at IGUS, but the residents, the community at large, also are going to benefit for the incredible investment that you plan on making here in East Providence. Now, I had the pleasure of taking a test ride on something that I find quite fascinating, and I really want you to get into the details of this. A fully recycled plastic bicycle is something that IGUS is working on right now.
Yep.
Can you tell me about this?
So our mission is to be CO2 neutral and have no plastic waste. As a plastic manufacturer, that's always an ambitious goal. So we need to find ways to use plastic waste to offset some of the things we create. Our owner is in the fortunate position to have a very nice house in Florida, and he one day on the beach said, we make all these wonderful bushings that cannot rust and don't need lubrication, but here I am and my beach cruiser is rusting away. And I think all of us here in East Providence or Rhode Island in general that ride the East Bay Bike Path know what a rusty bicycle can do here a day. So we decided to make a bicycle that is 97% out of plastic. We will increase the recycling content from 20% to 50% to as much as 90% if we can get there. Making frames, wheels, handlebars, everything out of plastic is quite the undertaking. But the product is launched and is being sold in Europe already.
Okay.
And we're planning on producing the bicycle and assembling the bicycle here in Rhode Island for the American market as well. So you're going to have a lot of interesting looking plastic bicycles in East Providence.
Listen, I think that's wonderful. Maybe we can organize some type of a bicycle race.
Absolutely.
Get some PR out there and get people involved. I think that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Look, we're excited about everything you're doing. One of the things that we brought up in conversation was that there's a local manufacturing plant that is changing their operation and moving jobs away. And immediately you said, hey, we'd be willing to help with a job fair.
Yeah.
You know, let's see if we can connect some of those skilled people with some of the people and needs that we have here at IGUS. Can you talk about the job fair? I know it's still in the early stages.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our ambition is to help that manufacturer that's maybe shutting down some of the operations, especially the staff there, to find homes, right? Skilled labor is partially hard to find, honestly. We feel that all the time. And if we can keep it somewhat in the community, we're happy to. We're neighbors, so being able to help them not even have to change their commute to maybe find a new job, either in our facility or maybe with partnering companies from Rhode Island. So I think, like you said earlier, we all benefit if business stays here. I need strong suppliers, I need strong employees, you need strong manufacturers to be here. So I think it's in all our best interest to keep jobs here.
And you mentioned it earlier, and you know, it is difficult to find certain skilled employees. Tell us right now, what kind of job openings are available at IGUS? If I'm listening at home, by the way, your website is www.igus.com. We're going to put that on the bottom of the screen right now, www.igus.com. If someone out there is listening and they're like, hey, you know what? I love this company. I love a company that takes care of its employees and values its employees. I want to come work for IGUS. By the way, for those people who didn't pick up on it, full health care with no premiums, no co-pays, right?
That's right.
That's incredible. Not many jobs or manufacturers do that today.
Yep.
Is there a pension plan or a 401k?
There's 401k, yeah.
401k?
401k, there's all sorts of full benefits package. We pay for vision and dental as well, fully.
That's wonderful.
So
That's wonderful.
we want
Tell us what kind of jobs you're actively searching for now.
Actively, we're looking really for from customer service, inside sales to engineering positions, assembly. We have openings for manufacturing, seasonal work, all the way to shop supervisors and production supervisors. So honestly, the whole gamut. I even have an accounting position, 1 or 2 open, IT positions. So really from a management level to a assembly level and everything in between. I think it's over 40 positions right now that are open.
And this is a company that has a track record of success since 1985, you said
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Expanding hundreds of millions of dollars in expansion. So, if you're a young person out of college, you're looking for a job
Absolutely.
where you're going to have some security, this is the place to come take a look. Very proud and very fortunate to have you here in East Providence. Is there anything you want to share before we wrap up the show? Any last words that I may have forgotten to ask you?
No, I mean, as you mentioned, we're very happy here. We enjoy East Providence. We hope to continue to grow here ongoingly, and I think we do everything we can for that. I think the big opportunity for the city is to continue to be an innovation hub and attract new technologies, and we can only bring a little bit of a part to that. But I'm happy to do what we can. So.
Well, Felix, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
What you do and what IGUS does is incredible. Great partners here in the community. So East Providence. You just heard from Felix Brockmeyer, the CEO of IGUS. I know you've seen their trucks around. They've got the orange letters on the side of the truck. And now you know a little bit more about them. There's great job opportunities, career opportunities. If you're interested, check them out at www.igus.com. We try to bring you information so that you know what's going on in the community. And this is a great partner. Having the ability to find a job, to sustain your family, and to be productive in our community is what we strive to create more opportunities for us. So we'll see you next time on the Pulse of East Providence with Mayor Bob DaSilva. Stay safe, be careful.